Okay, so I am at the Great Escape, and I'm gonna do my afterthoughts. So, I mean, this is a park that I've been to before. Basically, in 2019 I came here, but when I came here, Alpine Bobsleds was closed, Flashback was closed, and by the way, one of the little quirks with this park, the sign says Flashback, but like the automated announcement that you hear says, "Welcome to the Boomerang." And like, I mean, it is a Vekoma boomerang, but I mean, that's just something I found a little off, but I was okay with it. Like, it's not something I really cared about, but it's a little weird. But now on to my thoughts about the park. And Great Escape, I really like this park. I think it's underrated. Like, I mean, I know I've talked shit about it in the past for the fact that there are often rides closed, but like, now that I got a more full experience having ridden Alpine Bobsleds, especially, because like, Alpine Bobsleds, they'll mark on the app that it's closed even when it's open. I got 3 laps on that thing. I got multiple laps on the Comet, of course, because the Comet is always good, and that's been a constant since I was here last time in 2019. But Comet is always good, and Alpine Bobsleds, if it's open, you've got to get on it. It's a good ride, actually. Like, you actually get, like, those transitions, actually, you do feel a little pop of airtime occasionally. It's nothing extreme, but I mean, you can feel it on those transitions. Like, those transitions are pretty good, and it's got a pretty good sized drop, actually, for a bobsled. So I highly recommend Alpine Bobsleds if you get a chance to ride it. As for the other aspects of the park, I mean, it's quite underrated, the fact that they've got the Storytown stuff still up and running, basically. Like, I mean, it definitely takes a maintenance crew, to put it lightly, to maintain the Storytown buildings, those little buildings with all that stuff in it. Like, you need a carpentry crew for that. So, I mean, good for Six Flags for not being Six Flags about that. I mean, when you say Six Flags bought a storybook park, I mean, what you expect the response to that to be, oh, they're going to remove all the storybook stuff and they're not going to preserve any of it for future generations. Well, I mean, they've owned it longer than I've been alive, and the storybook stuff is still here. So I mean, good on Six Flags for that. And the Comet, oh, probably the best wooden roller coaster in the Six Flags chain that isn't by RMC or Intamin. So basically, the best wooden roller coaster in the chain that isn't Goliath or El Toro, because obviously those are completely different kind of wooden coaster. But like, as for the traditional wooden coaster, Comet may very well be the best wooden coaster in the chain, and I say that as in Comet's a very good ride. Because, like, I mean, you've also got Wild One, which is good for that, but like, I definitely prefer Comet here at Great Escape. So, because like, you've got more airtime on it. And also, by the way, I'm just gonna comment, even though it does have those individual ratcheting PTC lap bars that enthusiasts aren't the biggest fans of, the ones on the Great Escape Comet don't come down as far as most individual ratcheting PTC lap bars do. So there's that allows more airtime. And also, they have a seat belt that goes across a seat divider, so you can literally put the seat belt on the seat divider, and it will prevent the ratcheting lap bar from ratcheting down more if you have it positioned correctly. So that's a tip for how to get additional airtime on the Comet. So I mean, there's my thoughts on the Comet. That's a great Herbert Schmeck wooden coaster. And Like, I mean, whenever I ride that or the Hershey Park Comet, because they're both called Comet, like, I mean, I always tend to have recency bias as for which one I prefer. But, like, I mean, initially, like, I mean, after I rode this for the first time, I preferred it to the Hershey Park Comet because I thought it had a better layout. And then when I re-rode the Hershey Park Comet earlier this summer, I preferred it because of the buzz bars. But now that I'm back here at Great Escape, I'm thinking the Comet here is actually back on top of the Hershey Park Comet because the ratcheting lap bars don't go down that far, and there's a system in place that makes it so that they can't go down that can make it so that you can basically have them even higher. So, like, they're probably the same height as the buzz bars on the Hershey Park Comet at that point, honestly. So, like, I mean, the trains still aren't as good as the old school buzz bar PTCs, but I mean, the individual ratcheting lap bars on the Comet at Great Escape can't go down as far as most individual ratcheting lap bars. So that's definitely very much a positive. And oh, that's right. Let's talk about the other coasters. I did not ride Canyon Blaster or Steamin' Demon. Like, Canyon Blaster was relocated from Opryland, and I know it has historical significance. And Steamin' Demon was relocated from Pontchartrain Beach. Most of the major coasters here are relocated, you'll find, if you look at Roller Coaster Database. And, like, I mean, it's weird to think that Pontchartrain Beach and Six Flags New Orleans were brought together in a weird way, because you've got the Aero Looper that was at Pontchartrain Beach in its final days, and you've got the S&S Shot Tower from Six Flags New England in the same park. Six Flags New Orleans, excuse me. I'm just thinking of the area I'm in, but Six Flags New Orleans had the S&S Shot Tower that's here at the Great Escape. So I mean, I don't know if I'm the only one that notices that, hey, Six Flags New Orleans had a section themed to Pontchartrain Beach, because that was a park in New Orleans that closed because of financial troubles in the 70s, I believe. And this park also has a coaster from Pontchartrain Beach. And so, I mean, that's just a weird little quirk that I noticed. But it's a weird little quirk that's deserving to be noticed. Oh, their new ride, Adirondack Outlaw. So, obviously, that's not something that I rode last visit, but I did ride it this visit, and it does go faster than the smaller ones, but, like, I mean, the over-the-shoulder restraint can come down more, and when I say the smaller ones, I mean, like, the ones at like the one at Coney Island, because there's a similar ride there. But so, like, I mean, I'm not sure which one I prefer, the bigger one or the smaller one. Like, I actually got more airtime on the one at Coney Island because the restraint didn't come down as far, but, like, I mean, I could definitely feel more forces, like more intense G-forces on the larger version, like Adirondack Outlaw. So, like, I mean, that's my thoughts on Adirondack Outlaw. They also added a condor in the area where Adirondack Outlaw is. So, I mean, I don't remember if that was here last time I was here. I wouldn't have cared about those rides at that time, and now I do, and I rode it for nostalgia of the Flying Falcon at Hershey. So I mean, that's a good ride. I wish they made taller condors for that could be like observation rides to, like, I mean, they tried to make the more thrilling version be the Wind Seekers and the Sky Screamers. I think it would be cool to have a taller version of the Condor as a thrilling observation ride. But I mean, yeah, that's basically my thoughts on this park. Like, the operations were pretty good. Oh, there is one thing that I have to mention for a con. So, the parking lot, I mean, I was thinking the park was going to be absolutely slammed today. And, like, there were sizable crowds here, but it was not slammed like some parks I've seen. But, like, I was thinking it was going to be absolutely slammed because I had to pull into overflow parking. If this is the crowds that require overflow parking, I mean, this park doesn't have an effective amount of parking because, like, their regular parking with crowds like they had today, if it's filling up and I'm barely waiting in line for things and the water park is closed, like, I mean, you don't have enough parking. Like, I mean, that's just the simplest way for me to put it. Like, you don't have enough parking. Like, I mean, I get that the park actually isn't the main source of revenue here. It's the lodge with the indoor water park that is. So, I mean, I guess maybe they just don't care as much about the park in terms of that and care more about getting people into the lodge. So they've dedicated more of their parking to the lodge. Like, I mean, that's the only explanation I can think of. But overall, it was a great day at Great Escape. I picked up 2 new credits. And one of them was a very rare credit with those bobsleds. One of them was a clone with the boomerang, but it was a better boomerang. I got several more rides on the awesome Comet. So, and I got to check out their new ride, which was Adirondack Outlaw. So, I'd consider this a very successful day here at Great Escape.